I just don't have time to make YouTube videos anymore. This has been my favorite phrase for the past year, and it's kind of true, but also kind of not true all at the same time. This channel, making YouTube videos, this is my really nerdy hobby. And because it's my hobby, I've wanted to make sure that it didn't interrupt or take place during times that I could be spending with my family, which I would not change for the world. But it has meant that making videos for this channel, I've had a whole lot less time for it, which has led to a lot of excuses and saying that I'll do it tomorrow, and then nothing happens. So tomorrow is not a good YouTube strategy if you want to make videos, and so this video is about me figuring that out. The real issue I was having was friction within my creative process. It was honestly just a bunch of tiny decisions that I was making constantly before I would create and during the editing process that took time. And that's why I thought that the lack of time that I had was the issue. So what I need to do to be more consistent here on this channel is really rethink how this channel works. And before anything else, I should probably explain what this channel will be in the future so you can understand. Right now, this channel is a love letter to the outdoors and whitewater kayaking. I have always loved the outdoors, and whitewater kayaking has shaped a big part of my adult life. I've always loved sharing my experiences and documenting them through photos and short films and sharing them with people here on this YouTube channel. The incredible landscapes that we get to travel through while we're whitewater kayaking, the moments on the river, and the incredible people who build their lives around these same things, those are stories and places that I want to take you to. But lately, I've also had to ask myself a very difficult question. And that question was, what stories are actually realistic for me to tell at this stage of my life? Because the reality is that the kind of films that I love making and the ones that I hope to make in the future, bigger versions of some of these same stories, take a lot of time. And while I still love the process of making these videos, the yield of one video for one shoot day or multiple shoot days in some cases doesn't always fit the creative time frames that I've given myself at this moment. So I've had to shift gears a little bit and start looking for another avenue for making videos on this channel. And after the Moments in Zambia film, I got kind of inundated with questions, more than I've actually ever received before, about what camera I was using, the lenses that I used, how I shot a few of the shots, the editing software I was using, the gear I brought on the trip. So I guess it's kind of embarrassing how long it took me to figure out and realize that this is my other creative lane, because I've kind of toyed with it in the past, but never really all that seriously. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to share what I'm learning as I go, what's working, what's not, moving forward on this channel. It probably lives in two very distinct places. One is telling outdoor stories that are exciting and mean something to me, and the other is the process of figuring out how to make them. Thinking about those bigger projects though, if you've got a story that you're ready to tell and you want some help telling it, head over to CaseyBryantJones.com and drop me a line. Let's collaborate and bring your story to life in a meaningful way. Once I noticed this pattern, it became very simple. I needed to remove as many of these repetitive decisions and tasks from my creative process so I could regain my footing and be more consistent on this channel. So over the past 2 months, I've done a bunch of really unexciting things. I've saved a bunch of presets, audio presets, titles, graphics, voiceover presets, you name it. And I've even set colors and fonts for this channel. These are decisions that have been made that will never change. And this just allows me to be more creative and spend more time and energy while I'm editing, not making these repetitive decisions over and over again. I had the same problem here in this room as well. When I would make videos about photography or videography projects, I would rearrange this room constantly. I would ask myself questions like, should the light go over here? Maybe it should go over here. Yeah, it should go here. Let's put the camera over here, but this is my better angle, so let's move the light back over here. This is what was happening all the time, and before I knew it, I had spent just as much time moving things around in this room as I would once I finally pressed record and actually started making the video. So I've got a couple of simple setups just ready to go here in this room. They're always set up. I'd never take them down. They're not anything elaborate or groundbreaking. This just creates fewer steps between me having the thought of I should make something today and actually pressing record. And this is one of those setups. The past couple of months have been a learning and growing opportunity, and it's been a little bit of an experiment as I've been learning to remove friction and remove unnecessary decisions from my creative process, because I genuinely thought I was being creative when those things were creeping into this process. But I do think that I'm going to be able to be more consistent on this channel now that I've made some of these changes. But if there's one thing I do know about myself, it's that I tend to do better when there's a goal involved. Back in 2023, I set a goal of publishing one video a week every week for the entire year. And honestly, making that goal public was the thing that kept me going when things got hard. Some weeks, the only reason that a video went up was because I had already said I was going to do it. So this year, I'm gonna make a pretty big growth goal. And over the next 12 months, I'm setting a goal of growing this channel to 10,000 subscribers, which feels pretty ambitious from this seat right now. It's over 3 times, approaching 4 times the number of subscribers that I have. But sometimes having something concrete to aim for is exactly what I need to help keep me moving when my motivation fades away. So this is me saying it out loud. 10,000 subscribers is the goal. Only 7,408 to go. All right, that's enough. We'll see you later.